put this into the vise, nice and low. Now, if you're doing this straight away, the advanced method, then I want you to have a few practice cuts, practice cutting perfectly straight. Put your finger on the side of the saw, your finger out, as like last year, and just practice over here. You're going to start a line, 1, 2, 3. That stops the saw sliding around. Once you've got it exactly where you want it, you take your finger away, left foot forwards, and we're going to start using the whole of the saw. Take your fingers away. Okay. Then you'll have a number of practice cuts going down to that line there. Okay, so your practice cuts should help you get used to using a tenon saw accurately and professionally. You should be looking at your first cut to check that you was able to cut parallel, dead straight down, that you're also able not to go wonky this way, and not to cut down like so. It's difficult to cut accurately with a saw in all those orientations. To help you, you must use your finger, and that stabilises the saw. Then as you use the whole of the blade, the saw does the work. But what you've got to do is stabilise that saw with a good grip. Now, when you're confident that you can cut accurately, have a number of practices, then you're ready to do your final cut. The final cut cannot be on the line. It has to be on the waist side of the line. So again, use your finger and just place the saw on the waist side of the line you want to cut, leaving the finger, the good wood, completely untouched. Then use your finger and you just drag towards yourself really, really lightly. Once, twice, 3 times is sufficient. It makes a little nook. Then we're going to really, really focus on landing the saw exactly, not on the line, but on the waist side of the line as well. And be patient, slowly come horizontal. Now that it's landed, that cannot start going sideways, or it's very difficult to. Now we're just concerned in going straight down. So keep your eye on this line here, and keep your eye on this line here. Couple of strokes and check. Couple of strokes and check. Okay, I'm going to land just above the line here, and just above the line here as well. Okay, stop when we get on that line and double check that we've gone just above the line there and just above the line here. We can then cut down this way. To do that, we're going to put it into the vise like so. Take the tenon saw, finger out on the side of the saw. Now we're going to cut on the waist side, which is above the line, and we're going to just drag it towards ourselves once, twice, 3 times. We're now going to bring it parallel on that line as well, very slowly, land in the right place, and then, now do not rush this, don't go too far, very easy to keep going until it falls off. It might not fall off, you might just go far too deep. So take that really slowly, and you'll leave yourself with a finger of wood there. The end of the same for this piece, this piece, this piece, and you'll do it on 2 pieces of wood. What you need to do for the marking is you have 4 pieces of wood. I'm not going to use that one, obviously. I want you now to transfer, line them up, and you're going to transfer the line across onto all of them, like I'm doing now. Now make sure that all of them are going to be the same size when they're finished. Then take the tri-square and you're going to go all the way around on all of them like we did before. So you'll have 4 pieces of wood with a line going all the way around. You're going to make 2 fingers, and then later I'm going to show you how to do 2 slots as well. Okay, so I've just showed you the advanced method, the way I'd like to encourage, of using a tenon saw by hand. A lot of skill is involved in this. If you want to, you can use a jig to help you. Making a finger joint, so we're going to use the finger jig. There are two. There's a slot jig and there's a finger jig. It's very important to use the correct jig. You're going to take the finger jig and you're going to put it like so it's in front of you and your wood is behind. You're then going to make sure that it goes into the vise, and you're going to check when you tighten it up that this is flush on this side and it's flush on this side, it's not wonky. And you're also going to check it's flush on the top. Best way is to move it in your eyes, move it in your hands and look with your eyes, and also to use your finger just to feel that it's flush. So let's put that into the clamp now, about this kind of height, and then take our tenon saw. In this case, we're going to use our jig to help us. We actually put the bottom in first, and this should help us to saw very straight and at the right position. As you can see, I'm using the whole of the saw, going right from the tip, right to the base. That makes it easy for me. And I'm going to look at this marking here. This is the important marking. And I'm going to go down until I get to that point. I'm actually going to slightly angle the saw so I hit that point first, before I hit this side. As you can see, I keep putting my nose over the top and I'm having a look. And just blow any excess away if you need to. Okay, and stop. Now, you can see that I'm on the line on this side, but I'm not on the line on this side. I'm now going to put it back into the vise, so I can see this line. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to slightly tilt it upwards. And I'm just going to do a few saws, a few cuts, so that I also come down to the line on this side as well. Everything else is the same. We can put it back into the vise. Finger on here. I have nothing to help you on this one. Finger on the side of the saw, on the waste side. 3 cuts. Okay, and we're starting to make a finger in the same way. Okay, so you've now cut your finger joints, both sides. Now we're going to check that we've cut accurately. So the thing we're looking for is to check that these bodies, the middle part there, the bodies are the same height, the same size. This one is slightly smaller, so we want to make this one the same as this one. The way we do that, take the big one and we pop it into the vise. And what we're going to do is take a chisel, check that your chisel's nice and sharp. If people abuse these, smack them into metal things, for example, hit too hard, then what happens is they can get burrs and it's not very sharp anymore. So just check by using your eye that it's a nice sharp chisel. We can then go up to the work. We put the chisel on the line that we want to go down to, and we can take a mallet, and we want to angle the chisel so it's facing upwards, and just give it a little tap. Now notice the way I'm holding this very close, I'm positioning it with my fingers like this, then I'm taking it away, just angling it upwards. Definitely want to stop when we get to halfway in, a quarter away and something like that. We're then going to turn it around. And we're going to position the chisel at the same depth where we need to go to. Angle the chisel upwards. So it's difficult to place it with your knuckles like this. So fingers, then hand, knuckles facing up. Okay, and you can see there that it's kind of going upwards. We can now get this middle portion away. Now I would pair this, fingers on top with the chisel, and we're just righty-tighty. Just getting it straight there. If you find that difficult, again you could use a mallet. Righty-tighty. Now, if it's still slipping, that's because I haven't got it deep enough. Now there's more to clamp. Come in this way, and then just clean it up that way. Okay, and that should take it a bit lower. I also want you to check your work with the finger templates, and just check that the widths are the same, and it's also in the middle. I can see on this one, was it this one? Yeah, this one isn't quite right. This side, you can see, is thicker here and thinner here, and the template confirms that I didn't cut accurately, so I need to take a bit of material away from here. The way we do that is first mark it up with a very sharp pencil, mark it on both sides where it needs to be taken away from. So it's there, and I've made a muck up that line there, but it's this one here as well. So now we're going to pop that into the vise, nice and low. First thing we're going to do is take a coping saw, and we're going to go in to the depth. I've marked it here so I can make sure I stop at the line. And I've marked it here so I make sure I stop at the line there as well. It's very important we do this first, and then we're going to take a chisel, fingers on top of the chisel, and we're just going to take little tiny slices away just by pushing down like so until we get to that line. Don't go past the line, it's better for it to be too big than too small. At the top it can be difficult to start. Now you can position it like so and hit, but the danger of that is it's going to drive itself in and you're not in control of it. So just for the top portion, I'm just going to take off little tiny pieces like so, and then to get this side we turn it around so that we're working away from ourselves. So we take it down to where it needs to be. Okay, it might split the top of the wood, that doesn't matter, it's the safest way of doing things. So now we check again that we think it's central, and I think that's good enough to proceed.